Next question is from an avid tennis player and friend of the show, Hannah.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, we're loading these up.
Huge fan. Very important question. During your visor era, how did you get your hair to be so spiked? What product did you use? Were you using a blowout? How did it get so perfectly pointed? And then why did you stop wearing the visor?
Yeah.
Because now no men wear the visor, and what do we have to do to bring the visor back? Thank you.
Pro visor.
Hannah, I love you. Thank you for listening to the show. You did an episode with Kim earlier this year. You're the best. We spent some time together at the Hall of Fame. I'm curious to see who the last two people are because I feel like you've set precedent a little bit. It was a bedhead wax stick.
Oh, the bedhead? I remember the bedhead.
There was no blow dry. There was no you're in St. Polten, Austria. They don't have blow dry. Like there's nothing, you don't know what you're dealing with. Brad Gilbert killed the visor, ruined it. I still blame him for my bald spot in the back. Like I have this weird theory, and tell me if you guys think this is real or not. Yeah. And be sure to write in if you have any experience. But like, I think if you wear a hat, it balls you, it pushes it up. Mm-hmm. I think it like right here, a lot of rubbing. These aren't my strengths. Yeah, those aren't my best spots. You know, I think if Brad Gilbert didn't come into my life, I'd have a glorious head of hair.
You think so?
Yeah, but even with all the stuff I take, like to make it seem less terrible. Yeah. Which obviously,
do you think you'd ever frost tips again? You think you'd ever just?
I never frosted a tip.
I don't know if I believe him.
Swear to God.
I think I've seen some stuff.
Yeah,
swear.
I feel like we've seen photos.
Yeah,
you can see all the fucking photos you want. Was
it just like a little lemon juice because you were down in that Florida
There's
sun?
no lemon juice. That's the Marty Fish play.
That's the Marty Fish play?
Marty Fish couldn't get through a month without throwing something at his head.
Just a little bit of dye, a little bit of something.
Copy, tag him. Yeah, he had a lot going on. He had like he had like full NSYNC going for a while.
Full NSYNC.
No, mine was just like, listen, if sun shines on brown hair, it becomes a little lighter.
I feel like we should launch a visor.
As long as I don't have to wear it. That highlights all the wrong spots for me. No, I got to be honest. You'd look great in a visor.
I don't know.
Techie Sean, you'd look fine in a visor. We can bring them back. We'll definitely make one just for Hannah. But
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, Hannah, in no uncertain terms, Brad Gilbert ruined my visor life, and my hair would look like Fabio if he had never come into my life. Next question.
Next question is from, it's a little question from Europe, from a friend of the show.
Hi Andy, my name is Lily. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Cologne, Germany. And my question is, what does a post-match routine look like? How long does the process take? What happens right after the match? Do you go on a bike first? Do you do the press conference? How long does the process take?
Great question, Lily. It depends on when you finish. It depends on, like, for instance, if you play a late match at the U.S. Open, everything has to be expedited because you're already panicked about the match 2 days later and recovery. You already know you've written off half a night of rest. But yeah, generally you come off. I would stretch right away. If there was an ice option, I would do it. You start hydrating immediately. I hate the part I hated the most, past just like obvious pain, right? If you're dealing with an injury, but like the easy part that I hated was having to eat within 20 minutes. So if you work out hard, you should put something into your body within 20 minutes after you finish. That is the biggest recovery meal that you would have. So Dougie, my trainer, Dougie Spreen, legend, would come with this like gross, foamy smoothie bullshit. It was gross. And I was still so nervous. Like my stomach was still churning and I was still anxious and I didn't want to sit and eat. And he would make me like banana or rotten ass bar or smoothie foam thing or whatever. And I hated eating immediately after matches. But you stretch. You never, ever, ever rush a press conference. You get your work done before you go to the press conference. Now, if you're fresh, right?
What do you mean by that? You get your work done before the press conference, right? So you're getting off, you're getting on the...
Yeah, okay. So the way it works, I should explain this. So the way it works is you get off the court and you go to the locker room, and then at some point in those first 5 to 15 minutes, someone who's head of press for that event and or the ATP or Slams, whatever, will come in and check in because they have to schedule a press conference. Like you can go immediately, you can go in 5 or 10 minutes. you could schedule one for 2 hours later.
Okay.
So it depends. If I opened the US Open a couple times at 11 a.m. in the morning, that first match, and got through it quickly. At that point, I feel good, body's fine. I want to get to the rest of the day. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I want to go back into the city. I want to get away from the tennis. It's going to be a long 2 weeks. I want to do all my treatment in room, right? And so I might rush a press conference and say I'll be there in 10 minutes and then do all the stuff afterwards because I have a full, especially if you play night match, you have a full 2.5 days recovery. So I'm not as worried. Whereas if you finish a late night match, you have to get food in your body. You have to ice if you want to. If you want to give your legs a quick little flush, right? 20 minutes just to get lactic acid before you get to the longer one when you get back to the room. So it all depends on timing. But Lily, to your question, the longer the match goes, the longer the recovery process takes. The longer the match goes, the more urgency you have with those steps in the recovery process. Press never, ever, ever dictated routine after the match. The recovery always dictated when you did press. Never ever was like, oh, I have to get into press. I shouldn't say this because like obviously we're part of the hamster wheel now, but never once did I consider like journalist timelines or anything like that. Like, and people would get paid, well, they finished the night match at 1. I can't stay until 2:30. I'm like, asshole, I have to stay till 2:30.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like I need my body tomorrow. So never once thought about that. It was pretty clear what you had to do, but it's everything you mentioned. Hydration, have to get food into you immediately, like within the first 20, 25 minutes. That's something that people don't do enough, even just generally with like working out and stuff. Stretch, ice, massage, maybe massage after massage, and then hope that the adrenaline wears off in time for you to go to sleep. I keep referencing after night sessions because that was the worst for recovery. Best memories, the worst in real time.
What's just a follow up to this? It's been a pretty significant gap in terms of like recovery technology since you retired. What are the things that you're seeing now that you're like, man, I wish we would have had that in my recovery?
So I'll give you an example. I remember I got into ice baths and I was probably one of the only people that like I'd do it and people were like, that's stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I would do it, but we used to.
That was so common in other sports.
Yeah, Dougie Spring. Well, you have to remember in other sports, you're building a locker room for a team for an entire season.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going to Vienna, tennis has just rented that venue for a week, right? You're not going to change the infrastructure of the locker room for 40 tennis players for 6 days. Like you're not going to take on that cost, right? And so like I remember even at the US Open, they had these huge like plastic towel bins, like where you need a real adult to push it, right? And so Dougie would go find a spare one somewhere and he would go ice machine fill. So we would do it that way. And I would jump.
He would grab one of the big like blue towel bins
and he would fill it up.
Oh my gosh.
And I would jump into the big ass towel bin. And now if I had to have an ice bath,
that's crazy.
Like after a night session, you could do it because no one else is there. Yeah. Right. Like day session, you couldn't, and you'd want to go back or you'd do it in a tub or whatever. But yeah, like I remember Doug, when we played in Australia, we would do it. Like we stayed at this hotel and one of our requests was, can you at some point, if you can watch the match, if we're getting close to the end, can you fill the bathtub with ice?
Wow.
And so we do that. We turn on the faucet and then we would jump in. Now all those places have them, and they have the what are those suits, the compression suits that make you look like the Michelin Man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. All of this stuff. But I think the biggest technology points are basically getting data readouts on what you need.
So you can be really
well. They can tell you your potential risk for injury based on your rest periods over the previous 3 days. Like we didn't have that, right? Like the predictive nature of the data now has to be a massive advantage.